Greetings, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. This is Carriekonyha bringing you another episode of Collective Awakening Weekly. This is a weekly energy update and activation to support our collective journeys in spiritual awakening, healing, and empowerment. Each week, we take a look at what's going on astrologically speaking, in addition to me sharing channeled messages and sacred wisdom teachings through the tarot. So here we are. We've made it to the other side of the solar eclipse that we had last week. For those of you who have been following this weekly series, you know that the energies that have been around this particular eclipse season have been especially intense, emotionally speaking, around the lunar eclipse that we had about a month ago, and that the energies around the solar eclipse had been culminating into where we are now, which is this gateway portal energetically into the realm of rebirth, renewal, and new beginnings. Now, the astrological highlights that are happening this week are perfectly aligned with the energies that we're just sort of transitioning through and are further supporting the energy of transformation. The main thing that I'm going to talk about today is the fact that actually, as I speak today, we have an exact conjunction between the planet Venus and Pluto, and they're both in the sign of Capricorn. So let me explain what that means. Venus is the planet that rules our sense of harmony, love, balance, beauty, values, affection, and refinement, while Pluto is known to be the planet of transformation. It is connected to rebirth and renewal, and it's also connected to deep unconscious forces and influences that inspire all of us to search for deeper meaning in life. Now, both of these planets are in the sign of Capricorn right now, which is an earth sign. Capricorn energy is very grounded, practical, determined in its higher expressions. Now, one thing that we do want to look out for during this time where we're being influenced by this alignment, which is going to be off and on actually throughout the end of January, we want to be aware and strive to not slip into the lower octave expressions of Capricorn, which can lead to pessimism, stubbornness, and deflecting focus through distractions such as work and things like that. On personal levels, the best way that we can harness these energies that are happening right now in alignment with evolutionary astrology, which takes what's going on astrologically and looks at it through the lens of how can we utilize this for our own evolution, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And so on personal levels, the best way that we can all harness this energy is going to be through being aware of what's coming up for you individually, especially regarding what your core values are. Venus is all about values, especially values that are connected to what we imagine as being our most harmonious, radiant, brilliant expression of life. And again, Pluto is kicking up some of those deep unconscious awarenesses that we've had going on within us individually that are connected to where we're not feeling aligned on those higher vibrational levels. And at the same time, this energy is supporting us with the Capricorn energy in making some actual distinct manifested shifts that enable us to ultimately get back on track with our highest and best version of life. The new beginning energy that has been activated with the recent eclipses that we've had are now being further supported by this Venus-Pluto conjunction, both in the sign of Capricorn, in the way that it activates a deep determination to step fully into our path of highest vibrance. Now, on the grander collective level, I do also want to say that Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn, and Saturn has to do with structures, organizations, governments, things like that. So we can expect that between now and the end of January, more than likely on the bigger picture level, there's going to be some significant forces of change that come in regard to that which has been not in integrity and not in alignment with the collective highest expression of where we all want to be going regarding our collective awareness in humanity, so to speak. So not only is this a time where we're having a personal turning point in our life that's very significant and substantial, but it's also a turning point in regard to the collective reality that we're all experiencing, and each of us individually feeling this determination, this ambition to shift into our highest and best realities is definitely having an impact on the collective oversoul of all of us regarding humanity. It feels like ultimately this energy is bringing us into a cycle of positive shifts. This week, the turning point energy is around the awareness and the assessing. I'm becoming aware of where I'm not feeling aligned with my highest and best version of reality. This is a carryover that had been awakened or activated with the eclipses, continuing to flow into the now so that we can integrate it more deeply. So the awarenesses this week are showing us maybe where we're not completely aligned yet, and providing insights and inspirations around how we can shift into our highest and best selves and our highest and best experiences of reality in more of a longer term, consistent type of way. One thing that I want to mention before I get into the cards that we're going to talk a lot more about next week, but I want to give us a heads up now. We have the full moon in Gemini happening next week, and that full moon is opposing the sun in the 26-27 degree of Sagittarius. The significant thing about this is that the sun is conjuncting or aligning with the galactic center. The galactic center in astrology represents our ability to access spiritual awareness and higher knowing. So we're all getting a boost of that. The energies this week are already sort of calibrating and leading up to that. This is a really good week to set extra time aside for self-reflection, meditation, contemplation, in ways where we're being open to that higher guidance, because that is the thing that's going to lead us to the higher vibrational awarenesses that are going to end up being the anchor, the tool that we utilize during this turning point time that we're all in right now. Let's go ahead and get into the cards and see what additional sacred wisdom teachings want to shine through today. Today I'm feeling guided to work with my Osho Zen Tarot, and I have them charged up with this little rock from Sedona in my backyard. Let me set that aside. And so let's take a look at the best way to navigate through these energies that are happening this week with the Pluto-Venus conjunction, both in the sign of Capricorn. Let's take a look at the best ways to harness the energies to support our growth and soul evolution on mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual levels. Let's start with that. So I'm just taking a moment to tune in here. And setting the intention that all the information that comes through today is coming from only the highest sources of light and guidance possible, and that everything is clear and in alignment with our highest path and purpose. Okay. So let's pull a card for the East, the South, the West, and the North. Let's take a look in the East here, the mind level of things. East represents patterns of new beginnings, knowledge, awareness, higher perspectives, learning, and the laziness card is coming up. So one of the things about the Pluto energy is that it's slow, heavy, and sluggish. We might feel a little bit less motivated than usual. And this card is reminding us to honor our sense of balance with that. I feel like this is a little bit of a message to not slip into mental laziness, because we are all at a threshold of a turning point in our lives right now, which we're reminded of by the fact that this card is assigned to the number 9, which is endings, completions, wholeness, totality. So as we're transitioning out of old patterns and having opportunities to activate fresh energies, new beginnings, rebirth, renewal, pay attention to ideas that bubble into your awareness that are connected to this whole conjunction energy that we've been talking about. The South direction is our sense of spiritual path. It's also creativity. It's the energy of what feeds meaning and purpose in our life. And so holding our awareness open literally to new possibilities will be what magnetizes new possibilities to us as we're all in this turning point energy. The possibilities card is assigned to the number 2, which is magnetic in nature. The 2s stabilize, harmonize, balance, and ground in foundations for growth. So on the soul level of us, we're all being guided to have our awareness body open to new possibilities. And a good way to harness the mental energy is to just align our awareness with what feels spiritually fulfilling, things that we're curious about, things that we feel excited about and ambitious towards. Flowering card reversed, showing up in the West direction, which also represents the flow of our emotions. The West relates to the actual season that we're in right now, autumn. It's about releasing, letting go, surrendering, allowing, and flowing. So the flowering card reversed tells us that in order for us to continue to bloom and flower and flourish, the energy is about letting go, surrendering, releasing anything that has previously obstructed growth and expansion. This also speaks of trusting the flow of life. One thing that maybe we've all noticed in the past week or so, since Thanksgiving, there's definitely been a shift of energy that feels like everything's really sort of quieted down. It's almost like abnormally quiet as far as like the normal busyness that we experience in life, which could possibly trigger worry and concern for people as far as business flow and things like that go. But trust the flow of life. The tide is out right now energetically, but it will flow back in as it always does. And let's let that lead us to the card in the North position, which is the Earth energy in regard to the type of wheel that I work with here. The north is our physical bodies, material physical world. It's manifesting things. It relates to the season of winter. And when I see this source card showing up reversed, I feel like it's a message for us to rely on our own inner spiritual resourcefulness, rely on our own inner guidance, cultivate the energy of spiritual light within you, which we're going to end up talking more about next week because of the galactic core alignment. This is a really good week to nurture your sense of connection with your inner soul guidance, your silent knowing, which is definitely experienced more when we have our presence anchored in our heart. And then we use the mind energy to empower the guidance of the heart through developing plans, strategies. This is also a really good time to learn things that will support your own individual sense of growth in alignment with the core life values that you personally feel the most value in upholding at this time in your life. We want to follow our inner guidance, utilize the powers of our mental energies to empower and ultimately manifest what our inner soul guidance is telling us now, in alignment with unlimited potential that's showing up right now, in alignment with the awareness of possibilities that we all individually have in our own lives to shift into, and to be willing to allow a clearing, a releasing, a shedding, a letting go of anything that's not supporting that, so that we can flow with ease into this energy of new beginnings that's going to be unfolding for us all over the next few months. Thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned. There's more videos right around the corner, and I am excited to see you in the next one. All my love, guys. Blessings and namaste.